After Jungkook's live broadcast, everything felt like an uncontrollable explosion. Timelines were filled with debates. Comments bounced off each other without pause. Analyses appeared as if every tone of voice and every breath he took needed to be judged. Yet amidst that noise, there was one fundamental truth slowly forgotten by many. Before the world knew him as BTS's golden Maknae, he was human. A human with fears. With wounds not always captured on camera. With boundaries that might be invisible, yet real. What if a global superstar pressed live, not to sing, not to promote, but simply to say that there are people who want to hurt him? Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. That night he was not angry. He did not attack anyone. He did not name names, accuse, or escalate tensions. He simply said one thing: he wants to live freely. Since when did the desire to live without threats become controversial? Today, we are not only discussing what he said, but also what truly lies behind those words, about invisible pressures, real threats, complicated fandom dynamics, and why a simple sentence can feel so heavy. Popularity does not erase one's humanity. Becoming a global icon does not mean one stops feeling pain. It does not mean one must always be strong. It does not mean one is obliged to remain silent for the comfort of others. In that live broadcast, he made no mistakes. He did not belittle anyone. He did not provoke conflict. If anyone was truly hurt in that situation, it was himself. He acknowledged that there are people watching him with hatred. People who want to see him fall. Even people who want to take his life. This is not a metaphor. This is not dramatization. This is an admission of a real threat. Do we truly understand how serious this is? A death threat is not fandom drama. It is not just an internet controversy. It is violence, even if wrapped behind anonymous accounts and a phone screen. When someone says, "There are people who want to kill me," the first response should be concern, not criticism of their facial expression. What is even more painful is that much of the harsh reaction came from his own country, South Korea. There was no mistranslation. No distortion of meaning. Every word was understood clearly. Yet some still chose to debate his tone rather than the content of his message. Since when did empathy become optional rather than instinctive? This is not the first time a BTS member has faced serious threats. Jimin has also received publicly circulating threats. The fact that he didn't speak about it openly does not mean he was unaffected. Silence does not mean immunity. Behind much of the hatred lies a dark fandom dynamic. There are shipper groups so attached to their own narratives that they struggle to accept reality. When normal interactions between Jungkook and Jimin do not fit the story in their minds, some choose to attack, as if real humans must submit to imaginary scenarios. All of this happens simply because two people appeared close. Because they laughed together, sat side by side, called each other's names softly. Are we really going to normalize death threats just because two friends are close? Hatred is often disguised as opinion. Threats are wrapped as criticism. Yet both are forms of violence. And the most dangerous thing is when that violence is normalized, when people say, "That's just how it is," as if habit makes it acceptable. It is never normal. Amid all this, one sentence stood out deeply. He wants to live freely. Freedom does not mean recklessness. It does not mean indifference. Freedom means being able to be oneself without fear. Freedom means not having to filter every word with anxiety that it will be twisted into a weapon. Freedom means being able to make friends, work, and breathe without the shadow of threats. Conversations become more complex when speculation about personal relationships arises. Many imagine what would happen if one day Jungkook and Jimin confirm something, whatever form that may take. Let's be honest. If they already face waves of hatred just for normal interaction without confirmation, what would happen if they truly said, "Yes, we are together"? We must not forget the social context they come from. South Korea has developed rapidly, but LGBTQ+ issues remain sensitive for parts of society. Even relationships with foreigners can spark controversy. If two globally influential male public figures confirmed a romantic relationship, it would not just be entertainment news. It would spark national and international discussion. Relentlessly. And the hatred? It would almost certainly increase. Some might feel betrayed. Some would accuse manipulation. Some would question professionalism. Fandom love is often conditional. Support as long as the idol fits a safe fantasy. But when idols choose honesty and freedom, some of that love turns into attack. That is why the sentence, "I want to live freely," feels like a silent cry. Not rebellion. Not provocation. Just an acknowledgement that he is tired of living under the microscope of hatred. If one day there is any admission about their personal lives, it will certainly not be an impulsive decision. They are not naive. They read comments. They understand social and professional risks. They know the world can be very harsh. Yet knowing the risks does not make the threats feel lighter. Behind the grand stages and thousands of watts of spotlight, there is a real human. With family worrying about them. With friends protecting them. With long nights when a phone screen feels brighter than the smile they have to show. As a fandom, the question is simple but heavy. Will we be part of that pressure or a safe space? What they need is not endless speculation. Not demands to fulfill anyone's fantasy. What they need is respect. Sincere support. Consistent protection when they say they do not feel safe. Popularity is not a bulletproof shield. Talent is not a guarantee of safety. Handsomeness is not armor. He is human. And humans should not live in fear every time they press live. If we truly love them, Jungkook, Jimin, and all BTS members, that love must be greater than fandom ego. Greater than ship wars. Greater than narratives we build ourselves. True love protects. It does not demand. It does not threaten. It does not punish honesty. The freedom he asks for is not radical. It is a basic right. The right to live without threats. The right to speak without punishment. The right to breathe without fear. And perhaps, amidst all this noise, the simplest thing we can do is this. Stop normalizing hatred. Stop treating threats as a normal part of fame. Dare to call out violence, even when it comes from within our own community. In the end, before all records and world stages, before stadium lights and applause from thousands, they are just humans who want to feel safe. And that should never be too much to ask. So now the question for all of us. Will we be part of the noise, or the safe space they need? If we choose love, let us love in a way that protects,